Good evening, everyone. You're in the spotlight with Brian Gardner for this Thursday, April the 4th, 2019. Good to have you all here for our second of two shows this week. Hope your week has been treating you well here as we join you for our second show of the week. We have an all wrestling show on tap for you tonight as we preview WrestleMania 35. We'll make predictions on all the matches, discuss them as much as we can discuss them because a lot of them are, not really lightning rods for discussion, and then with the time we have left, we'll address questions and comments from the fans. So it won't be a long show tonight, not as long as some shows we've done when we preview a wrestling pay-per-view or whatnot, but it'll be enough. I think it'll be satisfying for you wrestling fans out there. We haven't done an all wrestling show in a while, nor have we been able to address questions and comments from the wrestling fans in a while. So it'll be pretty cool to do that here tonight. But so that's what's on tap for tonight. Before we get into any more information and start things off here tonight, first, let me remind you all the ways which you can interact and contribute to our show. Have your voice heard by emailing us at itspotlight411@gmail.com. You can also follow us and tweet us at itspotlight411. Remember to use the hashtag itspotlight411 for anything you tweet regarding our show. And you can find us on Facebook by searching for us with our show title in the Spotlight 411. And once you find our fan page, make sure that you like it so you can interact with us and keep updated on everything going on with the show. And again, for those of you that would like to submit a question or comment related to wrestling or WWE, or again, wrestling in general, you can do that. You could have done that before the show, but if you haven't done it before the show, you can do that during the show here today. You can do that by email, Facebook, and Twitter with the information I just provided for you. I explained what we're going to be doing tonight, what's coming up next week. Well, obviously on Tuesday, we will recap the Final Four and the National Championship game, which will be taking place on Saturday and Monday, respectively. We'll finish out our bracket discussion, see how we did on our brackets. We'll tie up the college basketball season, and obviously we'll discuss any other big sports things we have to discuss. Also, we'll talk about the fallout from WrestleMania 35 and Raw and SmackDown, which will be likely just as big as WrestleMania because they always are. So it'll be a very full show on Tuesday. Next Thursday, we'll have our entertainment content, box office beat, the return of our TV highlights of the week. And there'll be a couple other things we're going to do, but I'll explain those on Tuesday. And the week after that, we'll kind of follow the same format: sports and wrestling on Tuesday, entertainment on Thursday. And the week after that, we will be only on once, as we will be preempted that following Thursday. The last Thursday of April. So please note that going forward here. So we'll talk more about everything that's coming up in the days to come here. I'm kind of doing it as we go along here because I'm still trying to figure out what our spring is going to look like. And I've been saying this for a long time now. There's a bunch of new things coming up on the show, and we're just trying to hash out the scheduling of it all and all that stuff. So I want to make announcements in relation to that. And that's something that we're hammering out right now. So. All right, so with that being said, Mike is just in time, so we can start things off here because I'm trying to roll through this because I'm not sure. Today was my first day of my third job, and I'm not sure how much voice I have left. I did a lot of yelling today, a lot of yelling. Being around 8,800 people will do that to you. But yeah, so I'm not sure how long I'm going to hang tough with the voice, but I'm going to power through here, and I'm sure. Mike would agree that this is not a card that incites a lot of discussion. So,
Nope.
Mike, you're in the spotlight, and obviously it figures that this is the one we'd go to.
Yeah.
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 Let me just put it to you this way. I think there's going to be some surprises. I think it's going to end up being a very good show.
I hope so.
It reminds me a lot. I've been saying this since the beginning. It reminds me a lot of 31 a little bit, where the buildup was just utter garbage, and then the show ends up being pretty good. I think that's what's going to be. I mean, you look at some of the matches; the match should be good. If you look at a lot of them, I mean, if you put aside the horrible buildup, the matches themselves should be pretty good.
Yeah, the buildup for this WrestleMania has not been very good at all. It's been rather shit.
I'm sure we're going to have a lot of questions about it, and we're not going to do a ton of questions. And here's the thing, folks, for you folks out there, and I know some of you are submitting questions and comments now. Look, a lot of times people always wonder this: how do we select? We haven't done this in a while, so I feel like I need to remind people. how do we select what questions and comments use? And I'm going to be honest with you, it's easier than it seems, because what happens is a lot of your questions and comments are very similar. So I can kind of just rope them all together in one question, and it just makes it easier that way. And sometimes me doing that, echo. We got echo here.
I
Sorry,
want to mute
sorry about
yourself,
that.
after, bro.
Yeah, I screwed it up. Hey, whatever. It's live podcasting. Anyway, what happens a lot of times is that I can just kind of do one question altogether, and it encompasses all these other details, and it almost answers like 10 people's questions. So that's kind of how we do it. So don't fret if your question or comment's not chosen. But yeah, that's kind of how we do it. So we try to pick the questions that encompass the most topics that people are interested in and that kind of thing. So, but yeah, there's this, I'm sure we'll get to some of these top, like this, as far as the build up to WrestleMania and the match. A lot of that will be addressed in the questions and comments as well, if it's not addressed in the match previews themselves. So here's how we're going to do this. Okay. We're going to go down all the matches. Obviously, we're not going to spend a lot of time on each and every one. Some matches we'll discuss more than others because there's more to discuss with certain matches versus others. We already know 3 of the kickoff matches. I'm thinking there's going to be at least one more kickoff match added to the pre-show. I'm thinking that, but I'm not sure. As of right now, we got 3. So that's the ones we'll preview, and then everything else we'll just assume is on the main card. There will likely be some additions. Let me just get that out of the way right now. You know damn well that somebody's going to interrupt Elias's concert.
Mm-hmm.
It's whether it's going to be Cena or Undertaker, because it's probably going to be one or the other. At this point, Undertaker is going to be in New Jersey. Spoiler alert. And Cena is going to be there. And apparently Cena's got something going on. They just don't want to tell us what it is. So it's either going to be Cena or Undertaker that interrupts Elias and does their thing. So you can expect that. Whoever one doesn't do that is probably going to end up being either added to a match or doing something that sets up something else. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just making an appearance or something. So we'll have to see where that goes. But yeah,
Undertaker.
I would say Undertaker for Elias. Yeah, I think Elias even alluded to that in an interview, Undertaker. So that's kind of, unless that's a red herring, I don't know. But yeah, I'm pretty sure. And look, for Elias, even though he's going to lose, it's going to be a pretty cool thing to have that. So, but anyway, we'll talk. But that, if anything else gets added to the card, that's going to be what it is. I don't think anything else will be added, so there's not enough time to add anything.
I think a Cena match will be added. I think
they're going to add him to something. I don't think they're going to add him to the match. I think they're going to add him to a match, or he's going to replace somebody in a match.
I think he's going to have a match.
There's still some people that are thinking that Baron Corbin, there's a theory out there. I'm just going to toss this out there now, that they do the Kurt Angle Baron Corbin match, and then it's one of those things. You know how sometimes you'll see either Vince or like The Rock that at the end of 27, we can't end your career like this.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden Cena comes out.
Mm-hmm.
I could see it being something like that, just to kind of get the fans going, or if Ray can't go, it just seems like Ray's going to go. It seems like it was just a scare. Yeah. But if for some reason Ray can't go, he'll just take Ray's place for Samoa Joe.
Yep.
It's something. It's going to be. I think it's something like that. But we'll see. We'll talk more about that in a minute. But first, we'll go. Let's start things off. Let's get to some of these matches. So again, we'll start with the kickoff matches, and then go into the main card. Again, I don't think anything else will be added except for anything to do with Elias, and obviously I think Cena will be tossed in somewhere. All right, so let's get going here as we start off our WrestleMania preview. We got the kickoff matches. First of all, let's talk about the match we all knew was going to end up on the kickoff show. It's a shame for the cruiserweights, but it always happens.
Kill it all year, and they're on the kickoff again.
Mm-hmm.
We are here.
And I could have told. I mean, we honest to God, we could have told you this before we even saw who Buddy Murphy was facing.
Well,
because
if it was anybody but Cedric, they might have ended up on the main card. But since it's Tony Nese, it's
So you have the champion.
No offense, because it's Tony Nese. Tony Nese is very good.
Well, you have the champion Buddy Murphy versus Tony Nese. So, Mike, why don't you just go get started with it?
Um, I think Buddy Murphy is going to retain. I haven't been following 205, but then again, I haven't been following a lot of storylines anywhere. Um, it's a weird kind of match because it's kind of heel versus heel,
Mm-hmm.
and it's weird for Mania because it's heel versus heel. And I don't know if the crowd is invested in Buddy. It's like ally versus ally, but it's heel ally versus heel ally. So and I don't think Tony Nese is the right guy for the moment because it's like I think if you were gonna go with this match, you should have gone with Drew Gulak. Who Gulak is the heel. You could have gone with heel versus heel, but Gulak is a more charismatic heel than Tony Nese is. But I don't know. I'm gonna say Buddy Murphy retains.
I think one of the reasons why they went with Tony Nese here is because they want it to be a quick match. I think that's what it is because they're trying to fill all these matches, and I think that's and I didn't want to put somebody in there that they have some I'm not going to say no some faith in, but somebody that they really want to represent well. Um, so I think they threw a bone at Tony Nese, thinking, okay, we can just make this like a quick little 5-6 minute match, and then Buddy Murphy retains. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I don't think it'll be much of a match. They'll do what they can do in a short period of time. But yeah, Buddy Murphy's going to retain. I really can't say much about it. I think really this is going to be a quick match. As quick as it's going to be. I mean, they'll make it. It won't be a squash match, but it'll be like what
It'll be competitive.
5 to 8 minute kind of thing, type deal. That kind of thing. All right. So the other kickoff shows are the kickoff matches are the battle royal. So let's start with the women's battle royal first. Which features the likes of Asuka and Mandy Rose. I'm not going to go over all of them. Sonya Deville, Naomi, whatever. I could go on and on. Carmella. If you're not in any of the women's title matches, if you're not in the women's title match, I should say, or the women's tag match on the card, then you're in this match. Put it that way. I'm going to be quick about this. I think Asuka's winning this. They pretty much gave it away on Tuesday night. I've talked to Mike off the air. There's a lot of things going on with that. I think that they're trying to send a message here. Asuka's going to win this. And then I'm pretty sure if in like 3 months, not even 3 months, I'm pretty sure if in like a few weeks, she'll get her title back. I just think that's the way they're going here. So yeah, Asuka's going to win this. The only other person I could see probably winning this, I mean, they do like Carmella. They could throw Carmella a bone. Or obviously they could heal it up with Mandy Rose, who Vince likes, but I think Vince is down her. So I'm gonna stick with Asuka here. Mike?
I think Asuka's gonna win with the sorry we fucked your push battle royal win here.
Uh-huh.
Because we have to have the look. The main event was fine. It doesn't need to be as overbooked as shit, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. Well, I got another battle royal here to talk about, and that's the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Which again, if you're not, I'm just gonna make it simple. If you're not in any of the main matches for the men, you're in here, pretty much.
Except if you're Kevin Owens, apparently.
Except if you're Kevin Owens, which by the way, I think something's gonna be up with that. Put it that way. I think he's gonna be involved with something. There's no way he's not gonna be on the card. Well, they throw him in here. If they throw him in here, he's gonna win. That's my
Braun Strowman.
No, to me, if they throw Owens in here, he wins. If not, it's just probably going to be Strowman. But anyway, well, you're supposed to start it, but whatever. Go ahead, Mike.
Oh, well, if it's Kevin Owens, it's Kevin Owens. Other than that, it's either Braun or Mustafa Ali.
Yeah.
It's either Braun or Ali. Unless it's Owens, then it's probably Owens.
Yeah, I can't see it being anybody else. I mean, I think Braun's probably the presumptive favorite, only because they're doing the whole angle with him.
Mm-hmm.
And, he's probably going to eliminate the commentators and make a big thing out of it. But yeah, I think it's Braun unless they add Kevin Owens. Then I could see Owens winning. I don't think Ali's going to win it.
I think Ali's a good shot. I think he has a shot, especially since his push got fucked.
Yeah, that you could have a point. If they're going to add anything else to the kickoff show, it's the Raw Tag Team Championship match. That would be my feeling. Only because of who's in it. And I think they're kind of afraid to do that because of who's the champion. Because I don't think they want them to get pissed off. But anyway, that match, the Raw Tag Team Championship, the Revival versus Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder. That's exactly why I ended up at the kickoff show, by the way. Just saying. Look, I'll be quick about this. The only reason why they're doing this match, and I think it's because they have a built-in story here with the Hawkins and Ryder trying to break his losing streak. And the Revival, obviously you want to get them into WrestleMania as the champions. They've been trying to. I mean, this has really been these last couple months. Operation Kiss the Revival's ass. If you think about it.
Operation Don't Go to AEW.
Which is funny to me because they've been worried about so many people going to AEW and nobody really has gone to AEW.
Right.
They got so bent out of shape to the point where they changed so many of their WrestleMania plans, and so far pretty much everybody's resigned. So I don't really know, and I don't know why they're so worried about it. And here's the funny part: I think Hawkins and Ryder are going to win.
Probably.
Because it's a perfect WrestleMania moment. The losers finally get that one win. Which, if you're the Revival, was it really worth it?
No.
But look, it'll be a fun little match. I do think this is going to be added to the kickoff show, and the Revival's going to be pissed. And they're going to be pissed they probably lose. But anyway, I think Hawkins and Ryder are going to win a quick little competitive match. Mike?
Yeah. I really don't have anything else to say because I think Black and Ricochet, who've been flirting with winning something.
Yeah.
They are. I think they're in the SmackDown match.
Yes, they are. Yeah, which is going to be an infinitely better match.
Well, no shit.
You know what's funny? Ricochet and Aleister Black have done more in the last 2 months than the Revival has.
Yeah, and they should have beaten the Revival like 15 times over. So
and look, they're more invested in them anyway. You can tell. But yeah, all right. So I do think that Raw Tag Team match will be on the kickoff show. The SmackDown Championship match I think will be on the main card. Let's go to the main card now. I think everything else will probably be on the main card. Alexa Bliss is obviously hosting. We know about Elias doing the whole concert thing. We talked about that earlier. Probably going to be interrupted. All right, let's go to that SmackDown. I can't talk. SmackDown Tag Team Championship match between the champion, the Usos, versus Ricochet and Aleister Black, versus The Bar, versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev. It's a fatal four-way match. Mike, go ahead.
If I had to guess, I'm trying to pull up that match. I'm surprised the New Day are not in this match. I mean, Woods and E are not in this match. And B, I think it's either The Bar walks out of here as tag team champions for the millionth time, or I think they finally but more than likely, I think it's Ricochet and Aleister Black. I think they finally crown them here. Unless no, it's Ricochet and Aleister Black. They're gonna give them the tag team titles. They've been flirting with giving them tag titles for about 2 months now, and I think this is the opportunity. If they don't give it to them, I think it's going to be The Bar.
I think they want some new talent to have a WrestleMania moment. And, they're kind of getting the whole thing about, they're working NXT. They're working NXT too, right?
They're going to be wrestling the War Raiders on TakeOver.
So they're going to have a big weekend. Yeah, so I think they're going to put them over here. The Usos have already resigned, so there's no worry there.
Yeah, so it's time to bury them.
So I think look, you're right. If it's not them, I could see it being The Bar again. Honestly, though, a part of me thinks they could, because you know how sometimes they just swerve us?
Mm-hmm.
I could see it being Nakamura. The only people I can't see it being is the Usos.
Nope. Well, they still have to get punished for that DWI at some point.
Mm-hmm. I could see them giving it to Nakamura and Rusev just to kind of be like, oh, here, look, we threw you a bone.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. I think Ricochet and Aleister Black are going to win. Would not surprise me if this match starts tonight. Because it's that kind of match that can get people
invested. There's no ladders involved with that match too.
Surprised there's no ladder match. You know why I don't think they did a ladder, because they usually like doing that multi-guy matches for mid-card titles and stuff.
Yeah.
I think the reason they didn't do it because it takes too long.
Yep.
That's the only reason why I don't think they did it. But this should still be a good match, a spot fest. I think I could see it starting tonight, to be honest. So yeah, but I think Ricochet and Aleister Black are the other ones to pick here. Be a good match though. United States champion Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio, which should still happen, but again, if it doesn't, I could see John Cena being tossed in there. Be cool if they threw Undertaker in there though. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I don't think Undertaker's going to be in there.
No, but that would be a moment for sure.
Sure would.
But yeah, if they threw anybody in there, it's Cena. But anyway, right now it's Samoa Joe versus Rey. Could always throw Dominic in there too. I don't know. We'll see.
Dominic, no.
But anyway, Mike, go ahead.
No matter what happens, Samoa Joe retains.
Not as sure as you are. If it's
Cena, it could be, but I think
if it's Cena, I think Joe wins.
Well, if it's Cena, I think Joe wins too. But if it's Rey Mysterio, I think Joe wins. If it's Dominic, I think Joe wins.
I don't.
I don't think you waste Samoa Joe on Dominic. Sorry.
I could see them. They love to have Samoa Joe get beaten in fluke ways.
Yeah, I know.
They
need to stop that though.
They seem to love it. It's like Joe. How many memes now do we have of Joe being shocked by being rolled up?
Way too many.
I mean, it's their go-to. I'm telling you, I could see it. The minute they said that Rey was hurt, I've been saying all along, I feel like they've been having Dominic all around this thing. Like,
I haven't been paying attention, to be honest with you.
I can see it where Rey tries to get to the ring. He can't go. He motions to the crowd, and here comes Dominic for his first big wrestling moment at WrestleMania.
Yeah, and he needs to lose. Sorry.
And then he goes into the ring and it starts to hold his own against Joe. And Joe's just kind of taunting him and da-da-da-da-da. And then he rolls up Joe for the victory and becomes United States champion.
I don't think you can do that. I think the Santino moment needs to kind of pass on this thing.
I would not do it. I'm just saying it's not below WWE to do it.
I'm not saying it's not below WWE to do it either, but I'm saying they need to pass on the Santino moment here. Moving on.
But yeah, listen, if it's Samoa Joe Rey, it's going to be a great match. If it's Samoa Joe Cena, it's going to be a great match. And you're right. If it's either one of those two, I think Cena, not Cena, I think Joe's going to retain. I think Joe will probably retain, but I still have that feeling that something's going to be swervy here. But all right, we have Kurt Angle versus Baron Corbin and Kurt Angle's farewell match. I do think this match is going to happen. I do expect Angle to win because, first of all, you're putting him through the idea of just doing this match. You know, if this was done in the fall, I think Corbin would have won. But it is his last match. I think they're gonna have Angle win here. I do think there's a chance that either, you know, they could always swerve us up and throw Cena in here, or they could have him beat Corbin and then, you know, throw an audible out there and say, oh, he's gonna face Cena too. I don't know if Kurt can go through 2 matches, but you know. Either way, I expect. I mean, if it's Cena, I think if he faces Cena in any capacity, I think Cena's going to win. But if it's Corbin, I think they're going to have Angle win. That's my feeling because they can pay off an angle here that, no pun intended, that they've been doing for a better part of a year.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to do this match in the fall, but I think back then it would have been about putting Corbin over. Right now, it's a farewell, and I think they want to have the crowd be happy, and the crowd's not going to be happy if Corbin wins. So, but yeah, I don't think it's gonna be a very long match. Kirk can't go that long. Even if Cena even steps in, it's not gonna be a long match. So, Mike,
it's not gonna be a very long match to begin with. It's not gonna be a very good match if it's Corbin. It's gonna be either way. It's gonna be a generally storyline match. If it's Corbin versus Angle, Angle wins. He's gonna make Corbin tap out. If it's Cena versus Angle, it's a storybook finish, and then Cena beats Angle.
Yeah.
It kind of plays off that, but that match will go a little longer if it's Cena versus Angle. And there's a chance that both matches happen.
Yeah, I agree.
But that's all I'm going to say about that.
Next up, we have Intercontinental Champion Bobby Lashley versus the Demon Finn Balor. No doubt, we'll have
Balor's winning. Moving on.
Well, we'll probably have somebody at ringside with Bobby Lashley. Just saying.
Yes.
Yeah, Finn Balor's winning. The minute, look, what did I say to you a month ago?
Well, it's Demon King doesn't lose.
The only reason they did this match, the only reason why they had the championship taken off of Finn Balor was so that they could do this.
Yep.
So it's going to happen. I mean, I think it's going to be probably an interesting match, but yeah, Demon's winning. I don't think you have anything to add.
Nope.
They
Demon
got to
King doesn't lose.
they got to
Moving
protect
on.
that character. They have to.
Hmm.
So at least it's on the card. Um, Next up, we have AJ Styles versus Randy Orton. And by the way, this has been one of the most underrated feuds of this WrestleMania season.
It's probably I would say, of all the WrestleMania season, it's probably the second best built one.
Hmm. The promos have been really good.
Yeah.
Well, you can start. Go ahead.
The second best built one, yes. Why? I don't know why I'm getting it. The house that AJ Styles built versus Randy Orton is going to RKO you and poop in your bag.
Hmm.
But in all seriousness, Randy Orton's going to win. I think.
Really?
Yeah, I think a lot of faces are going to go over on the show, so he's going to go over somewhere.
True.
I think Randy's going to be, and you need to kind of keep Randy strong. Both of them kind of go to a part-time schedule, and this feud can continue.
I think if they want the feud to continue, I think you're right. Randy's going to win.
And I think they're going to look for a good way for AJ Styles to take a high RKO spot. So Randy's going to win.
I've seen some people say that if AJ wins, they think AJ's going to do Randy's move on him.
The RKO.
Yeah, they think based on the way that they've been building it, that they're going to do that, which would be a cool moment if they did it. Um, but hey, we'll see. This match is going to be kind of like a show stealer. It's going to be a good match.
It has the
Although
potential to be a show stealer.
I mean, AJ has a tendency to bomb out all his good matches, um, but Randy's in the ring, so I think that you feel a little more faith in it. Yeah, this one will get a little bit of time, but I think I'm going to go. I think Randy will win for the reasons you mentioned. But it wouldn't surprise me if it wouldn't be a shock if AJ won. This
No.
one can go either way, but I'm leaning towards Randy too. So I mean, Randy has to win once. So it's kind of like the whole Triple H. Eventually, you have to win something so when they put people over, it matters.
Mm-hmm.
So next up we have Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. Um, we all know what's going to happen here. Look, I feel bad for Drew. He really shouldn't lose, especially since they've kind of recommitted to pushing him, and had a great month. But we know Roman's not losing this match. First of all, I think they've handled Roman Reigns really, really well since he got back. He had that little burst with the Shield reunion, and everybody, the crowd's been very favorable. And then they kind of they ran that angle, and they kind of backed off on him a little bit, and it's kind of helped. It hasn't been like very in your face, you know what I mean? So, I think the crowd's gonna be receptive to him winning here. I don't think they'll give a long match here, although it'll be a pretty hard hitting one. But Roman's gonna win here, Mike.
Roman Reigns, he is gonna win this match, and it's not even close. He is gonna win. Drew is getting speared, and that's all she wrote.
By the way, just to address one of the biggest questions we got in our email box over the last week, yes, I can see Dean Ambrose appearing in either this match or the Seth Rollins match.
Yep.
Just thought I'd say that because I do think that's possible. They've even been teasing. I think Dean even teased in a dark segment. So, okay, WWE Women's Tag Team Champions Bayley and Sasha Banks versus Beth Phoenix and Natalya versus the Iconics versus Nia Jax and Tamina, a fatal four-way match. Mike.
The only people who are probably not winning this match are Nia Jax and Tamina, and thank God for that. Or the Iconics, really. Um, Although the Iconics could win it, and nobody would probably complain because they're an actual tag team. with an actual tag team name.
Yeah.
Although it's either going to be Bailey and Sasha retaining for their first major pay per view retention, or Beth Phoenix and Natalya are going to kind of win it for that feel good moment, and Natalya's going to be like, "I'm going to win it for my family, love you, pops," and Beth is going to I'm coming out of retirement, I'm winning it because it's a feel good moment, and I'm ruining it because I'm Beth Phoenix, Hall of Famer, ha ha ha, suck it, Edge. So I can see it's either going to be one of the face teams.
Yeah.
If I had to pick one, I'm going to say it's Beth Phoenix and Natalya.
This WrestleMania seems to be about a lot of feel-good moments. And look, I think the Iconics are going to get a run with these things this year. I would say probably around the fall, probably they'll get a run with these things, with these titles. Yeah, I'm leaning in the direction of Beth and Natalya. I think they might just give it to Beth and Natalya and have them drop it like on Raw or SmackDown. I could see it just being like a quick reign, just so they can say they did it together. I think they feel like they owe Natty a little bit. She was supposed to get remember, she was apparently supposed to face Ronda, so in a big program. And I think they might, with the years she's had, and Beth's always been such a good supporter of the company. I could see them giving it to Beth and Natalya, especially since you don't have to have Bayley and Sasha Banks pinned here. So, yeah, I'm leaning in the direction of Beth and Natalya as well. I think this will be a cool match. But yeah, I'm leaning in that direction. Next up, Shane McMahon versus The Miz in a Falls Count Anywhere match. This feud's been really, and I'm not the same because I like The Miz. This feud's been really well handled.
This has been the best built feud of all of WrestleMania.
And what I appreciate is that they've even, and this is probably because of The Miz, they've even bothered to explain why Miz all of a sudden has this drive to be able to take out like so many people. It's like he's dug deep and found, I'm fighting for my family. I'm fighting, like it's like he opened something else. It's like a character thing, It opened a new side to him, and it's like he's finally realized so many of the things that he didn't even know he could do. They've really done a good. I mean, again, it's probably because of him because he's so good at this, but they've done a really good job bringing Miz along as a face. So much better than the first time. And Shane's been a great heel. And I think this match is going to be a lot of fun. The ending is so predictable because we know what's going to happen. He's going to do something stupid, and Miz is going to finish him off and pin him. But to me, it's more about just giving the Miz kind of a moment to solidify him as a face. It's been a good story. So yeah, this should be a fun kind of spectacle type typical Shane McMahon match. But yeah, Miz is going to win here. Mike?
Yeah, Miz is going to win, and this has been, I feel like, the best built match of WrestleMania, and it's because Shane McMahon has been able to act like a giant douchebag, and that is one of the roles Shane McMahon is fantastic at acting like, and the Miz is the Miz. He's great at getting anything over. This has not been overbooked. It has not been overblown. It has been passionate. It has been raw, and they've done a great job of building it. And honestly, it's probably one of the matches I've been most excited about seeing.
Yeah.
So, and Miz is gonna win, and I'm looking forward to it. Shane's gonna do something stupid. He's gonna jump off of something big. He might even hit the Miz with it, but the Miz is gonna win.
I'm just gonna say this too. In the aftermath, don't waste the Miz.
Yeah.
Because you got the crowd all over this. Don't mess it up. Because right now, you finally have a way to push him as a face. So, all right. Next up, as we move on to some of the bigger matches here, we have Triple H versus Batista, no holds barred match. Mike?
Well, if Triple H didn't put his career on the line about 2 weeks ago, this match might be in more doubt. So I wonder who's going to win here.
Mm-hmm.
Triple H is going to win. Moving on.
I think it's going to be a cool spectacle match. I don't expect it to be a very long match, number one, because I don't think Batista can do it. And number two, because Triple H, I think, is still recovering. He pretty much gave it away in an interview that he's basically still recovering. Um, so, but anyway, yeah, Triple H is going to win here. It's been well documented that Batista would only come back for one match and basically a retirement match. And that's going to be this. So, Triple H is going to win, beat Batista. Easy match to pick. Next up, we have a match that easily they're going to try to bury because I honestly believe people are going to be shocked. I think this match is going to be very short. And this is probably the match that Dean Ambrose probably won't come down for. He'll probably come down more for the Roman match because he's been more involved with that story. But Universal Champion Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins. Rollins is losing. I think he wasn't meant to lose, but they know Brock's not leaving. They know Brock's working the Saudi show, which has been moved to June, by the way. It's been obvious even before Roman came back that they could care less about this feud. Maybe part of it was because Seth is injured, and it's apparent that he's still injured, which is part of the problem. But since Roman's come back, they lost even more interest in it. They have not treated it like a program that's going to be the end of Brock Lesnar. The way they've treated, this week they had Seth go over him a little bit, but that's all the more reason to think Brock's going to. I know they sometimes go the opposite, but that's all the more reason to think that Brock's going to win. I think he is going to win, and I think it's going to be like less than 10 minutes. Mike?
I'm not opposed to saying that. I think it's going to be more 50-50.
Okay.
The only reason why I'm saying that is because news came out today that Brock Lesnar is going to be training for a match with Daniel Cormier. The UFC is going to give him the match.
Okay.
So, before I saw that news, I would have said, yep, Brock Lesnar is going to lose. Brock Lesnar is going to win this match. He's going to take Seth Rollins down. He's going to tear down his pants, and he's going to burn down Seth Rollins' butthole, period.
Yeah.
But then I saw the news that, oh shit, Brock Lesnar is going to be training for UFC because he's going to be doing a heavyweight title fight with Daniel Cormier. Okay, so Brock Lesnar might actually lose a title now.
One can hope.
So 50-50. I think Rollins might. I'm going to say 51-49 Rollins might win here.
Okay.
And the only reason why I'm saying that is because Brock Lesnar might be going into a training camp.
Fair enough.
Because it depends on how early the fight is. I thought I might have saw fall, and then I might have saw summer, and then if you realize fall, if you realize that it's April and spring,
Mm-hmm.
and both of those seasons come up soon, and it takes like 6 months to training camp,
Right.
especially for like the heavyweight champion of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Brock's going to need to drop the title. Now, he can probably drop the title and then work a quick match in Saudi Arabia and lose fucking nothing and gain $6 million for working a match in Saudi Arabia and then go back and then get the piss beaten out of him to train for Cormier.
Right.
That's fine. But I think the Universal title run might have to come to an end here. Because especially if he's got to go into training camp. So I think maybe Seth Rollins wins. It'd be nice.
Okay. All right. Now
they're going to bury the match. You're right.
Oh yeah, they're going to bury the match. It's going to be like in the mid card somewhere. Especially since they're pretty much pushing the Daniel Bryan match as like the second main event now.
So much for the Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm. WWE Champion, the new Daniel Bryan versus Kofi Kingston is the next match for us to talk about. Mike, you can start off with that one.
Speaking of short title reigns that are going to not matter after a month, I present to you the Kofi Kingston reign. Kofi's going to win this match. You're going to have your Kofi Mania. You're going to have your moment. And you're going to have your 30-day Kofi Kingston reign. But as we've said for the last month, it ain't gonna be shit. You're gonna have your 30-day reign. Kofi's gonna drop the title, especially since the next pay-per-view is Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
So
Here.
Kofi's gonna get a quick run, and don't be surprised if he loses the title right back to Daniel Bryan.
Okay, so a couple of questions that our fans sent in, I'm gonna address right now because there's two things that have been floating out there that people have been asking about, and I've seen these theories elsewhere. The idea of the New Day interfering, one of them costing Kofi and having him lose here,
That won't happen.
which would get Daniel Bryan away from Kofi, and then allow him to continue on with whatever plans they had for Daniel Bryan. Or there's also this. Because a lot of people said, and I told you this off the air, that, Daniel Bryan, apparently, allegedly, Daniel Bryan did not want to go to Saudi Arabia in the fall.
Probably still doesn't.
And if that's still the case, now the Saudi show has been moved to June. They do have a superstar shakeup coming up 2 weeks after Mania. And now, as you've noted, now the Saudi show being moved to June, the next event up is Money in the Bank. They can still avoid that. They could still have Kofi win this thing, even lose it this week or some random SmackDown, or having this get cashed in on it Money in the Bank, and you just get Daniel Bryan away from the title and move on. They don't need Daniel Bryan. You know what I'm saying? They don't. They can get it away from Bryan and avoid the issue altogether. But some people didn't think they could, especially with the show being moved. So. Let me just say why I'm bringing it up, because I don't think there's any which way here that Daniel Bryan wins this match. They know the crowd's going to get all. That's one of the reasons why they stayed committed to it, because sometimes WWE will stay committed to their plans no matter what. The Kofi fans were hijacking the shows.
Stupidly.
So, basically with that, they're going to stick with what their current plan is and have Kofi win, even if that means dropping the title, even as quick as 2 days after Mania, because I could see that.
It's a possibility. It's a
So,
very distinct possibility.
so I'm going with, it's going to be a good match. It's going to be a good storytelling match. Kofi Kingston to win the WWE Championship. Can't promise how long it'll last, but yep. All right, next up we have Raw Women's Champion Ronda Rousey versus SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch. Winner take all match. Mike, you can start this. I have to jump off real quick.
Fine, I will talk about this for as long as I can, but it will not be for very long. Because I'm going to be honest with you, this is a blatantly overbooked, pain in the ass, piece of shit match. It was fine when it was just for the Raw Women's title. It was fine when it was just Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair. You didn't need to add anything else. You didn't need to. Literally, it was fine. You would have made history on its own. But the fact that we just had to put for me the jump the shark moment was the fact that we had to cut Asuka's reign off of the knees. And look, as an admitted Asuka fan, I am heavily biased. But other people who are not Asuka fans kind of follow the same thing. The SmackDown Women's Championship does not need to be in this match. It really doesn't. You're not unifying the titles. You're going to keep them as two distinct titles after WrestleMania. So what is the point? A winner take all match so one person can have a big ass moment? So what? They could have had the same moment with one title. And look, it's no surprise who's going to win here. Despite some people saying, oh, well, it could be Charlotte Flair. It's not. It's going to be Becky Lynch. This is going to be your crowning moment. Ronda Rousey's on her way out. She's going to part-time status. Charlotte Flair is going to go back to SmackDown or Raw. Does not matter. Becky Lynch is going to win this match. But this feud has been overbooked. It has been overexposed. It has been overhyped. I am tired of this match. I'm tired of this feud. It's just because, and look, they made the right call making this match the main event. It should have been. Becky Lynch is the hottest thing in the company. Ronda Rousey is the biggest star they're trying to push, and Charlotte Flair absolutely deserves to be there. Pardon me, but I don't know. I'm tired of this feud. They hit the same notes every week. Yes, I know Becky Lynch can own them on Twitter. Yes, she is amazing at it. We know. I don't know why Ronda Rousey's husband had to be there. I feel like that was a creative misstep. And admittedly, I only kind of read summaries and kind of saw some clips after. And even then, I'm like, why was he there? It didn't matter. It didn't make any sense. I don't know. I just think the jump with shark moment was adding the SmackDown Women's title to it. I think you could have salvaged the whole situation if you had decided to make Asuka versus Charlotte early on in the show and had Asuka beat Charlotte for the women's title and then maybe add Asuka to the match and make it a fatal four way. You still have Becky Lynch win, but she only wins the Raw Women's title because the match should only be for the Raw Women's title because, again, the SmackDown Women's title shouldn't be in it. But if you're going to kind of want the SmackDown Women's Champion to be in the match, well, why not add Asuka to it? Have the big four in there. Make her as important. I don't know what else to do or say. Becky Lynch is going to win. There's no doubt about it. I don't know who she's going to pin. She may beat Ronda Rousey because Ronda's on her way out. I don't know. But that's all I really have to say about that. I don't have any questions, so I can't take a look. I don't really have anything to speak of. I don't have any additional rumor or innuendo. So I can't address any of that. I don't know what Brian knows about what Kevin Owens may be doing. I just hope he's going to be doing something awesome. I don't know what Cena's going to be doing. I just hope he's going to be doing something awesome. I don't know what Undertaker's going to be doing. He's probably going to be beating up Elias. I guess some additional notes while I'm covering for Brian. There is a Roddy Piper statue unveiled at Access, and I am looking forward to seeing that on Saturday. There were some amazing shows that happened at the wrestling side shows this week in WrestleCon. There was a Josh Barnett's Bloodsport that was headlined by Minoru Suzuki versus Josh Barnett himself, and they fought to a draw. And apparently, that was an amazing match. They fought to a draw. They hugged. They shook hands. They bowed to each other, and they beat the shit out of each other. Before that, also Lacey Evans is teasing the possibility of an appearance during the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal. I'm sure Lacey Evans is not going to win. I do not care. But But yeah. So apparently, I was told that you need to go out of your way to see the the Minoru Suzuki Josh Barnett match. It's like an old Pancrase style match. It's like a shoot fight. It was kind of similar to the Matt Riddle Suzuki match where they took the ropes off and they just kind of beat the shit out of each other. And last year Suzuki defeated um, Riddle. It was a good match. So, and right now, DDT Pro, everybody's favorite super athletic comedy promotion from Japan, is wrestling their first show in New York City. And apparently, they had an amazing show. They did a world title change. And the notorious Iron Man heavy metalweight title changed hands 5 times in 60 seconds, which is a new record. I don't know how many times Joey Ryan held the title in that many times, but you never know. So if you are in New York City, or if you're not in New York City, I guess DDT Pro is something worth watching. And if you're not watching DDT Pro, I don't know why. It is super worth watching. Or at least some clips on YouTube. So just following up on that. Just following up on that. I don't know what else to say. I don't know how else to follow up on this. I'm just kind of following up on some additional wrestling stuff because this is the biggest wrestling weekend. Oh yeah, there was another bit of wrestling news. Jim Ross left WWE this week, and he was signed to AEW apparently because he was Jim fucking Ross. Good for him. He was signed to do commentary. He is also going to be working with Excalibur of PWG fame. And Excalibur is really fucking good. It should be worth noting. So there's your AEW news, I suppose. I don't know. There is not an awful lot of news at the moment because a lot of the big shows are not happening until tomorrow. You're back. I already picked Becky Lynch. The match is overblown. You can talk now.
I don't have much to add.
Yeah, there's nothing to add. It's an overbooked piece of shit. The storyline is kind of overplayed, and Becky's going to win.
Yeah, Becky's going to win, and then they're going to have, the only question is who she pins, because if you're listening to what's being said, it's if Ronda's staying, then Charlotte's being pinned. If Ronda's not staying, Ronda's being pinned. And whichever one, doesn't get pinned is the one that's going to be in the storyline with Becky going forward. So, here's what I'm going to say. Whoever is in the storyline with Becky going forward is the one that's probably going to cost her the SmackDown title. And that's how they it drops back to Asuka. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So that's probably the only thing that we don't really know too much about. But yeah, so look, it's gonna be a good match. It's gonna be a big moment, no matter how much overbooked nonsense has been in that match. It's still gonna be a moment, and I think they got some of the magic of it back on Monday with the whole brawl thing, because a lot of people like that. But it doesn't take. They really, I think they tried too hard, and we'll talk about that in a second. I just think they tried too hard, and they thought they had to keep adding things to the match to make it better. It was good enough as it was. But anyway, yeah, Becky Lynch is going to win, and it's going to be a long match. It's going to be something to see, that's for sure. It's historic. So all right, so we went through all the matches. Obviously, Mike mentioned this earlier. A lot of it's very face heavy, so you figure some heels here and there. But I think, look, WWE has been operating under the idea of just trying to draw heat in so many of their matches. That I think having a face heavy show is not a bad thing. Um, so, and obviously, Raw and SmackDown next week will be interesting, as I mentioned last week. They're always interesting because they give you a direction of where they're going to go, especially with the superstar shakeup in 2 weeks. It's going to give you some idea of what they're planning for the next year, and it's going to be interesting because once you get through Mania, so many of the things that they've been building for years are pretty much been used up. They've used Roman with almost everybody. They've used Brock with almost everybody. You don't have Undertaker and Cena really that much anymore. Batista is not going to be a thing anymore. Angle's not going to be a thing anymore. And this big women's main event, and Ronda's probably going to be leaving at some point. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see where they go because they're almost going to have to shake things up because a lot of the things that they've been building will have been already done. So, so that should be interesting. But all right, let's do a couple quick questions and comments, and then we'll wrap it up because I did address a few. We did address a few throughout the night already. Let's talk about the build-up question because that's been a big topic tonight and in the past few weeks. I'm going to, again, pick a question that I think encompasses many of the issues a lot of you have because I think we got more questions about the build-up than anything else. And this is the best one I could find. One of the big criticisms of WWE this WrestleMania season has been the build-up in a number of their matches. It seems like they're giving us a lot of matches that we would usually want, but they've watered them down and taken away a lot of the interest of those respective matches by the way they've chosen to overbook certain storylines and build things up. To me, it seems like a classic case of trying too hard in some matches and not trying hard enough. If you were behind the scenes booking these matches, what would you have done differently? And do you think WWE will ever learn from the mistakes they've made in these past few years of build up to WrestleMania?
You want me to go first? Or you want to
Sure,
go
you
first?
can go first. You can go first. You're fine.
I feel like the Daniel Bryan thing, they will feel like they've learned their lesson, but I think that's kind of hurt them so bad. And I think the Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns situation really kind of fucked everything for them. Honestly, if I were booking WrestleMania, if I were booking this WrestleMania specifically, it would have been look, not hard. Not hard at all. It wouldn't be I wouldn't make the most popular decisions. Rollins goes over Lesnar. I would have I would have I would keep that match the same. Ronda Charlotte Becky, but it's for the Raw Women's title only. I don't overbook it. I don't do too much. It's for the Raw Women's title only because I understand that there are situations in there that have forced my hands. And I have Asuka versus fucking Natty, or I have Asuka versus I don't know. Give me a female wrestler. Pick one.
Sonya Deville.
Sure. Sonya Deville. Guess where she's from? New Jersey. I give them 10 minutes. I give Sonya the opportunity, and I see what they can do. If Asuka can make Sonya Deville that night, great. She goes over. We've made Sonya Deville a star. That's an easy booking.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I'm putting Tony Nese in that spot because I would have put Drew Gulak in that spot, or I would have put Cedric Alexander in that spot. H is over Batista. I would put Angle versus Cena. McMahon over Miz. I would see. I wouldn't have known if I had Roman. As a booker, I wouldn't have known if I had Roman either. Balor goes over Lashley, and I don't know if I would have had Joe Mysterio. I think I would have had I would have had Ray versus Andrade, and I would have had Joe versus Cena. because that's a good match and a good story to tell. There's a lot of history there. I mean, do you complain with Joe versus Rey Mysterio? Absolutely not. Now, do I run Daniel Bryan versus Kofi Kingston? No. No, I don't. Because I would have stuck with the story. My match would be Daniel Bryan versus Ali. Period. I would have kept that match. I would have found a spot to plug in Kevin Owens on the show somewhere. Maybe Kevin Owens versus John Cena. But Kofi Kingston probably be in that tag team title match. Kofi Mania wouldn't be a thing. Sorry. Because I would have had Ali for that spot. Now, and I'd have the Bar win because I'm a Sheamus fan. That's how I would have done it. Oh, and Hawkins and Ryder over the Revival because LOL, fuck the Revival. You want to pitch and moan and threaten to go to AEW? Fine. You're going to lose to the guys who have lost for 3 years straight. Have fun. That's just out of spite. Sometimes you act out of spite. Do you know who else acts out of spite a lot of times? The entire WWE booking team. Have fun, Revival. They're so gonna lose.
Here's the thing. I don't disagree with anything you said. Except for I would probably go as far back as SummerSlam to kind of rebook a lot of this. Because, as much as Mustafa Ali is a good thing, but it should have been Daniel Bryan versus The Miz. And I don't know why they voted from that. I don't know, but look, that's really when the booking changes start. And here's the thing. I get it that plans are going to change. You're going to have injuries. They didn't expect to have Roman. Roman comes back. And like you said, there's some things that are out of their control. So you have to take all that into account. But the thing that I do think they tried too hard on a number of matches. I think they tried too hard on the women's match, the Ronda match. I think they tried too hard on the Kofi Daniel Bryan thing. And I think you said it the same way. You said it best. Ever since the Daniel Bryan situation at WrestleMania 30, now it's like they're afraid to have people like they're afraid. They get compromised by the fans. They're afraid to piss off too many fans. They don't listen to the fans in general. They listen to a certain vocal group of fans that are the ones that try to get themselves over at TV tapings. Okay? They're listening to that vocal group of fans and letting that dictate what they do instead of just being, what? Because here's the thing. They had no choice with Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan's fan base, you heard the reactions. It wasn't just a vocal group of fans. It was the whole arena. And it went on for months. This ain't the same thing as Kofi Kingston. Yes, Kofi Kingston, great reactions. He's always been a fan favorite. Okay? But he's not getting full arenas. And here's the thing. And you know this as well as I do. People are going to say the injuries and that, but it wasn't. What happened the minute Daniel Bryan won the title?
He got cheered.
No, he got cheered, but what happened afterwards?
He kicked AJ Styles in the dick again.
No, I'm talking about it during his first one.
Yes, he did.
Well, he did. I'm talking about.
And it was a great moment.
I'm talking about after WrestleMania 30.
Oh, he got injured.
Well, yeah, but in that month after, what happened to his reactions?
They kind of went down because he wrestled Kane again.
They went down, but he also had peaked. What else is there for him to go for? His whole program was the underdog that was going up against the authority and proving his point that he's not a B-plus player. He is a guy that could be the face of the WWE. He had accomplished all that in one night. There was nothing else to accomplish. There was nothing else there. And it's the same thing with Kofi. There's nothing else there. There's no other goals. If you build a program around their sole goal is to prove that one point, you're stuck.
I mean, it's also to kick Daniel Bryan in the dick. Or Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles in the dick.
Well, that right, but that's him as a heel, and he has more goals as a heel.
I mean, is it though? Is it though?
Oh, maybe not. I don't know.
Isn't
But
everybody's goal to kick AJ Styles right in the dick
apparently it was Nakamura's.
for months?
Yeah, relentless. Um,
Good man.
but anyway, but yeah, I think that you're 100% right. It's a feel good thing, and I understand why they feel like that, but they're letting the wrong fans dictate what they do. Because if they had stuck to their guns and went with Mustafa Ali or even Kevin Owens, there's more long term in that than there is in Kofi Kingston.
Especially Kevin Owens.
Wow. I threw you, I said either one, but look, Owens already had a championship reign. They could have gotten more with Mustafa Ali at this juncture. But you still get a lot more Kevin Owens because you still have more you can do with him at this stage. So I'm just saying that that's the angle they should have ran, but they were too afraid. They were too afraid, and the same thing with Becky. They think that every face. Well, Becky was different though. It wasn't like they had to go with Becky. It's kind of like Daniel Bryan level kind of stuff. But here's the thing: they think that every face has to be booked like an underdog. Becky got over because Becky wasn't an underdog. Yeah, she was fighting the establishment, but she was more like the Stone Cold Steve Austin type. The rebel, the woman that didn't care about rules and everything. She's just gonna go and do what she wants. And from the minute she won the Rumble, it's been one constant hurdle after the other. And that's not her storyline. That's not what it should be. I think you have to start booking the storylines from the standpoint, okay, who's over? Who's over as a face, who's over here? Let's tell a story with this. And then let's organically build it from a character standpoint. What works for these characters? What works for what we want to do with them? If you do it that way, it comes together more naturally and it works. If you don't, you get what you got, which is an overbooked mess. Simple as that. Do I think they're going to learn? No, because I think WrestleMania 30 burned them a little bit. And that they now think they have to listen to certain fans, and they're afraid what will happen if they don't. So, for the last several years, it always seems like coming out of WrestleMania, we automatically have some idea of what we're looking at as potential big matches or main events for next year's WrestleMania. After 35 is over on Sunday, what do you foresee being potential big matches for WrestleMania 36?
Who knows?
I do.
Oh, good for you.
If they don't do Ronda versus Becky at SummerSlam, then I think that's one. If they do it at SummerSlam, I think Becky versus Stephanie McMahon.
Sure.
That's one. That's those two. That's the woman's side. Men's, I think Rollins versus Reigns.
Sure.
Because they've been both openly going into the media and pretty much advocating for it.
Rollins versus Reigns.
Yeah.
I think you might also get Owens versus Zayn.
Well, that's always a thing.
That might be a thing.
That's always a thing. I would also say Charlotte versus Asuka again, probably.
Yeah, let's see if they'll get it right this time.
Yeah.
Probably not, but let's see. Third time's a charm, right?
If you're looking for an idea on a part timer though, like like a Undertaker, Matt Cena, Triple H type thing, I have no idea. I don't know
Triple
what
H versus one of his guys.
that's always a thing. But like as far as like any other matches for Taker or for Cena, I have no idea. Or Brock even, I have no idea. I think they might look to try to bring in somebody for Brock next year, like an a former MMA fighter or something like that. They might try to do something like that next year. They always like to have a spectacle. I could see them doing that because I think they've exhausted a lot of their Brock people already. So, but Um, seeing what they've done with the women's tag titles and making them open to either brand, do you see WWE doing this with any other titles?
No.
I don't, because from my understanding, Fox does not want anybody from the Raw brand on SmackDown. They want them to be very exclusive. So I'm curious to see how they handle the women's tag thing, because that could be a problem in that regard. So that's the only reason why I say no. If not for the Fox deal, assuming that's true, then I would say that they probably would start making some more titles open to that, because I think you've been seeing a lot more of like brand crossover lately again. So um, what do you think the future holds for Braun Strowman?
Maybe a world title reign someday, but other than that, who knows?
I think he's moving to SmackDown. That's my thinking. Um, if he moves to SmackDown, I don't. I mean, I think that they'll give him a push towards the title, but I think it's going to be in the fall. I think they're going to try to build him back up a little bit first. So whoever heel that's there that they can throw at him, or if they move somebody else from Raw, they'll just have him feud over there. I could see them revisiting Joe versus Strowman again.
Be a good match.
I think I could see them, because we had a little bit of a taste of that over a year ago, and that worked really well. That could help him. I could see that. I think Joe might stay on SmackDown, but we'll see. We'll do two more, because a lot of these are repetitive. I'm just trying to find some good ones. This one's a dual question. What roster changes do you see happening in the aftermath of WrestleMania? Do you see any other wrestlers going to a part-time schedule?
AJ Styles.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Going to do we see there are going to be lots of changes, but I don't know about part-time. Part-time. Orton's definitely on part-time now. I think you'll see Bray Wyatt returning, but I think only AJ is really going part-time. Ronda's going part-time.
Mm-hmm.
I think Nakamura could go part-time if he sticks around. I think you might see less of the bar than you've been saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think Sami Zayn will be back.
No, Sammy will be back for sure.
Bray will be back. You're right. You're gonna have some of these call-ups like Gargano, Black, and Ricochet get their brands and start getting some more to do. Same thing with like Nikki Cross. I don't know what they're gonna do. I could see. I don't think they're gonna release anybody until after AEW's first event. I think they're gonna wait that long. You know what I'm saying? This is kind of like just because. I could see them releasing Ethan Carter III. I could see that.
It'd be stupid to do, but
I,
sure.
I could see that though. He pissed somebody off. It's pretty obvious. I don't know who yet, but it's pretty obvious.
It'd be stupid to do, but
you're right. No, you're right. It would be incredibly stupid. I agree with you, but they haven't even tried with him. But whatever. But yeah, I see. I don't. I think you're right. I don't see anybody else going part time. Really, AJ's the obvious one. I mean, I do think that they should start giving some guys, if you don't have a program, just kind of take them off TV for a little bit to let them rest up a little bit. Just because of all the health problems you've seen, injuries you've seen, but one more. Let's see, which one do I want to go with? Um try to pick a good one here. Let's see. I want to do this one because, what do you foresee happening in the superstar shakeup?
Superstars moving brands. That one was easy.
Wow, Mike. I think you're going to see. I think you're going to see a lot of change. The last couple have been very minor because they didn't want to do too much, and I think that was a mistake. This time they're going to have to do a lot, and they're going to have to do a lot of. It's going to have to be drastic because you got the Fox SmackDown thing going on.
I think it's going to be more like a draft.
I agree. I think Ronda's going to clearly go to Fox because they want her there. I think Charlotte and Becky go to Raw. Even though they have Becky and Sasha going back and forth already, I think they'll go to SmackDown. Let's see. I think Strowman's going to SmackDown. I already told you that. I think AJ's going to Raw, even though he doesn't want to.
I think Finn's going to
SmackDown. I agree. I think what you.
I think the U.S. champion's going to Raw.
Yeah, I mean, I just some reason I see Joe dropping and then going, but if your thing's going to happen, the title change, title trade, then it has to be like that. But yeah, I could see that happening. Let's see. I think they'll keep Reigns on Raw. I don't think they'd move Rollins. They might move Miz. Those are the ones that immediately come to my mind. I think it's going to be a pretty drastic change. I think they need a drastic change. I think you played out so many feuds.
I think some tag teams get moved too. I think the bar stays on SmackDown, but I think some tag teams move to Raw.
They definitely need to have a drastic change here, though, because it's really like you sense that both brands are kind of burnt out. You sense it, so I would say it's going to be a pretty drastic night when they do it. So, all right, we addressed a lot, so we're going to stop there, and that's all we have. Again, it says that's all we're going to do. Our all wrestling show, WrestleMania questions. That's all we're going to do. That's what we did. So we did it, even with my interruption when I had to leave. We did it all in a little over an hour, about an hour and 20 minutes. So pretty good. And that's it for tonight. As always, the show might be over. It does not mean you have to stop interacting and contributing to our show. Continue to have your voice heard. Send your questions, your feedback, questions about the show, scheduling the show, topic ideas, or breaking news on creative sports, entertainment, wrestling that you want us to cover, reactions, comments, opinions on things we talked about. Any of these things you can do by email, Facebook, and Twitter. You can email us at itspotlight401@gmail.com. You can also follow us and tweet us at itspotlight401. Remember, hashtag itspotlight401 is what you want to use whenever you tweet at us or regarding the show. You can also find us on Facebook. Just search In the Spotlight 401 on Facebook, and make sure that you like our fan page. Again, follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Follow us on social media so you can get the latest information about our show and be able to interact with us and know what's going on with the show and all of that important stuff that you really need to do. 2 ways to keep with the show and look back at classic episodes. You can stream us anytime on YouTube. Just search In the Spotlight 401 on YouTube, and when you do, you'll be taken to our show page on YouTube, where you'll find every episode we've ever produced since we joined YouTube way back in October 2015. So all those episodes are available to stream anytime you want. Just head over to YouTube and search In the Spotlight 401. If streaming's not your thing, maybe prefer to listen to us or listen to us on the go. Maybe interested in older episodes of the show. If any of that applies to you, check us out on our main host sites, Podbean and iTunes, to search for In the Spotlight 401. And when you do, you'll be taken to our show page on both sites, where we have access to every episode we've ever produced for our show. That's every episode from our original Blog Talk Radio run, every episode from our talk show, and every episode from our current YouTube run. And all those YouTube episodes are in audio format for your convenience. Every episode we've ever done is available for you in audio format on those show pages for your convenience. So you can listen to them anytime you want on the go. Whether you missed a part of an episode, want to check an episode again, want to look back at an episode from years ago, or maybe you're a new fan, want to check an episode from years ago for the first time. Just keeping up with episodes, whatever the case may be, you can do all that and more on our main host sites, Podbean and iTunes. Search for In the Spotlight 411. Again, that's In the Spotlight 411. So Google Plus, YouTube, Podbean, iTunes. Again, Google Plus, YouTube, Podbean, iTunes. Your ways to keep with the show and look back at classic episodes. Search for In the Spotlight 411. Again, just search for In the Spotlight 411. I want to thank Mike for being here tonight. Thank you, Mike.
I'm going to go to bed now.
Sounds like a plan. I want to thank myself for a great show. I guess I didn't do this the other night. People pointed that out. Weird. And of course, I want to thank all of you for your continued support and contributions to the show. Thank you so much for watching. To those who will be watching, listening to this later, thank you to you as well. That is it for this week. Next week, we'll be back with you for 2 shows. Again, on Tuesday, sports and wrestling. We'll cover the fallout from WrestleMania, Raw, and SmackDown. We'll talk about the Final Four, the National Championship, wrap up the college basketball season, look back at our brackets, all that cool stuff. And any other sports stuff we have to go through, we will go through on Tuesday and then next Thursday. Entertainment, box office beat, TV highlights, and more, all coming at you next Thursday. So 2 shows next week, both at 10 o'clock Eastern time next week. And for those that are wondering, I don't know if we're going to do something for my birthday on the show. We might not, but my birthday's on Wednesday, so who knows? We'll see. Yeah, so that's next week. Until then, have a great rest of your night, a great weekend, and a great start to your week next week. We'll see you back here for our next show this coming Tuesday night, April the 9th at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Wish us luck at WrestleMania because that's what we'll be doing this weekend. I don't know if we'll do anything from there, but if we do, we'll obviously let you all know. Okay, so have a good weekend, everybody. We'll see you back here on Tuesday at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern. Until then, good night, everybody.